Night for Head Start. On November 2 News NBC broke the story of parents outraged over physical exams done through Tulsa's Head Start program. The parents say they were not warned, nor did they give consent for the physicals that included a visual genital exam. 2 News NBC's Chad Nye reports those parents are now making plans to take Head Start to court.
These 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds, they'll no doubt remember this for the rest of their lives.
Attorney Chris Gorey represents 10 parents who say their rights and the rights of their children were violated. All of the children attended Roosevelt Elementary Head Start. The parents say that in November, without any warning or consent, their children underwent physicals at the school that included visual genital exams. Now Gorey is considering filing a federal lawsuit against Head Start administrators.
And this is the government, without the parents' consent, coming into the school while the parents are at work and giving exams to their children. It's a gross invasion of privacy.
Our concerns with the children and their families.
George Charlton serves as president of the board for the Community Action Project of Tulsa, the agency that sponsors Tulsa's Head Start. He says that after a meeting of Head Start administrators and parents, problems with parental notification were corrected. He also says the intent behind the exams is good.
Hopefully catch any problems that a child may have at an early stage before it has an major adverse effect on the child's health.
Gorey is still researching the options for a suit, and it could be several weeks before anything is filed. Chad Nye, 2 News NBC.
Gorey is receiving help from the Rutherford Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization of conservative attorneys who help with cases involving family rights and constitutional rights. Well, another day, another shot of cold air from the north. Yesterday's 60-degree weather is gone, replaced today by an Arctic blast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lazalier with that evening first forecast.
And thanks, Mike. That's right. Along with the Arctic blast, we didn't see the freezing drizzle. It passed us by, but we've seen some flurries today. That won't cause any problems. Roads are dry now. They should stay that way. But if you see a few flurries this evening or even tomorrow morning, don't be surprised. First forecast will take you first to temperatures throughout the area, and they are obviously very cold, dropping into the 20s over much of the area, especially north of I-40. Now add in the wind and it feels even colder. Wind chill readings definitely dropping it down into the single digits and teens in most areas. By 10 p.m. tonight, you can expect temperatures to stay in the low to mid-20s over much of the area, but with the north wind, it'll feel colder. More on our possible warm-up. That's coming up in a few minutes. Mike?
All right, thanks, Jeff. And there is other news this evening. A police chase overnight nets 17 rifles and 1 pistol, and 5 teens have been arrested, including 4 juveniles. Police say around 11:30 last night, they tried to stop a car for a traffic violation when the driver led them on a chase. It ended when the suspect's car broke down. Officers believe the car and guns found inside were stolen. The 5 teens are charged with eluding officers, resisting arrest, possession of firearms with felonies, and robbery of several Tulsa convenience stores last Sunday. And then there were 4. It's taking a while, but officials are catching up with some escaped inmates. The jailbreak took place early Monday morning when the inmates cut through mesh bars and security glass to get out of the Delaware County Jail. Well, late last night, 3 more were found hiding in a ditch west of Jay. Another man was captured late Monday night. A 5th escapee is still on the loose this evening. Commercial Financial Services is looking to get back nearly $27 million it claims it loaned to its 3 founders. Complaints have been filed in U.S. bankruptcy court against Bill Bartman, Catherine Bartman, and Jay Jones, stating each promised in January 1995 to repay advances totaling almost $27 million. However, the Bartman's attorney maintains the debts are based on inaccurate entries on the CFS books.
That they were carried on the books of CFS as a loan, when in fact a majority of the amounts that are apparently being discussed by CFS or claimed by CFS were actually benefits provided to all the shareholders.
According to that complaint, the advances added up to millions apiece by the time the Bartmans and Jones left the company in October, when an internal investigation was started. Since then, state regulators have started an investigation of their own into CFS. No hearing date has yet been set on those complaints. A state lawmaker says he's opposed to salary increases and is giving his to charity. Representative Leonard Sullivan of Oklahoma City opposed a vote by the Independent Legislative Compensation Board in October 1997 to increase legislative salaries by 20%. The raises took effect 15 days after the November 1998 general election. Sullivan says the state's founding fathers never intended for the legislature to be a career or a primary source of income. Meanwhile, another Sullivan will once again be the point man for Governor Keating's effort to pass the so-called 4x4 education reforms. Tulsa Republican John Sullivan says his legislation would require high school students to compete or complete 4 units of language arts, science, math, and social studies. The legislation failed to win approval last year. Sullivan contends Oklahoma's high school curriculum needs to be stronger so children can be better prepared for the next century. There's good economic news tonight for Oklahoma. The Office of State Finance says collections for the first half of the fiscal year were $1.96 billion, a 4.2% increase over collections during the same period a year ago. That increase comes despite lower than estimated gross production tax revenues from oil. State officials say declines in oil tax collections have been offset by growth in other areas. Well, there's a goose on the loose no one can catch up with, and worker training programs are highly ranked in our state. Our first stop around Oklahoma takes us to the capital city. According to Expansion Management magazine, Oklahoma ranks 4th in the nation with one of the best workforce training programs. In selecting favorite states, factors considered included flexibility of companies to choose how their employee training is conducted. And in Garth Brooks' hometown of Yukon, there is a goose on the loose tonight. The wild bird has been spotted everywhere in town, but when authorities get a tip on the goose, he is always gone when they get there. Police are even using a sketch and asking residents of Yukon if they've seen him at all. Officers think the goose knows they are on his trail, so he's ducking in with some other feathered friends. And that's a look around Oklahoma for this Wednesday, January 13th, 1999. Your children most likely work on them at school, but having one at home could also be quite useful for you. But you may not have the money to buy brand new computer equipment. Now there are other options available to you. Liz Exton with tonight's in-depth report. Also still ahead tonight, we'll talk one-to-one with Chuck Patterson, who will become the new first chairman of the Tulsa Chamber of Commerce. And now for tonight's timeline question. Can you guess what year it was? It's a reminder of the glitter and wealth we experienced during Tulsa's oil boom years. The Phil Tower was once the queen of the Tulsa skyline. At that time, the city was building skyscrapers, not so much at a premium, but simply because they liked to see them rise. Do you know what year construction on the Phil Tower was complete? Was it 1917, 1927, or 1937? You're watching 2 News NBC at 6, Oklahoma's home team.
You're watching Oklahoma's home team, 2 News NBC, with Mike Browning. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lazalier. And sports with Big Al Jerkins. This is 2 News NBC at 6.
The first front-wheel drive minivan in America. The first to offer dual sliding doors. The first with roll-out seats. A minivan that since introduction has offered more innovations than any other. The new Dodge has a passion for bringing the future into the present and then making it affordable with $1,000 cash allowance or 1.9 financing on Dodge Caravans. The future is waiting. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you for this limited time offer.
This is Unisom Sleep Gels. It helps you sleep. This is Tylenol PM. It helps you sleep too. They both have the exact same amount of the exact same sleep ingredient. But Tylenol PM has added medicine for headaches, backaches, even fever. Do you have a headache, backache, fever? Then why take medicine for it? Take Unisom. It's a safe, non-habit-forming way to fall fast asleep.
NBC research shows you'll laugh every 5 seconds watching Late Line and Encore Encore.
The most dangerous thing about guns is... You idiot! You shot me!
That's right, a laugh every 5 seconds. Oh, here comes another one.
You have no conscience!
I'm completely amoral.
God, I want you!
Come to Mama!
Late Line and Encore Encore, NBC tonight.
A body in a van ignites a conspiracy. And here's the twist. It all happened 30 years ago.
I suppose you're going to say you didn't do it.
All new Law and Order, NBC tonight.
The Tulsa Philharmonic Orchestra presents pianist John Kimura Parker at the Tulsa World Masterworks Concert on January 16th at 8 p.m. at the Tulsa PAC. Call 747-7445.
And join us tomorrow on 2 News Today. First, there was Sweet Georgia Brown, and then there is Sweet Keith. Globetrotters and Keith together on the same court.
Your chance to win tickets tomorrow on 2 News Today.
Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lazalier has the seal of approval from the American Meteorological Society and National Weather Association.
Welcome back to 2 News NBC at 6 o'clock. Our temperatures, well, they are certainly cold. We've had those northerly winds throughout the day. Take a look at some of these readings, including 25 right now in Coffeyville. The same reading here in Tulsa. 28 in Muskogee right now. Bartlesville and Fayetteville at 26. McAllister at 29. When you add that northerly wind in, it feels even colder. These are currently wind chills right now. Feels like 5 in Tulsa, 7 in Bartlesville and Muskogee. Not much better anywhere else. Checking the 2 News WeatherNet site, this one at Verdigris Elementary, just to the northeast of Tulsa, just south of Claremore. It's currently 24 degrees and a cold north wind in that area as well in Rogers County. 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour right now. So it's going to stay breezy throughout the evening, dying down just a little bit overnight and just a little bit tomorrow. Humidity 89%. Skies are staying on the cloudy side. Today's allergy report for you now. The pollution count rated as good, but the pollen jumping into the very high category. That's cedar pollen. So if your nose has been itching and you know you're allergic to cedar, that's why. It's in the air, and it's kind of unusual to see pollen very high this time of year. That's usually something we see in the spring, summer, and fall. Sometimes it'll creep up there. Mold spores were staying in the moderate category. Here's a look at our radar and satellite pictures put together today, and you can see as we place the radar image on top of the clouds where the precipitation was. Scattered areas of freezing rain and freezing drizzle in Missouri. We had our shot early in the morning hours, but it actually moved away as low pressure pulled off to the east fairly rapidly, kept our roads dry, thankfully, and left us with a few flurries today. You'll be able to see that precipitation all the way up into the Midwest along the Ohio Valley and staying in that area right now. Our sky staying cloudy. The next area of low pressure creating snow in parts of northwestern and north central Kansas right now. That'll sweep on across the area later tonight and tomorrow morning. We could see a few flurries here, but more likely the flurries will probably be up, say, north of Chanute, Kansas, in Kansas and southern Nebraska, then on over into Missouri. That's the higher chance for snow. We'll see maybe a few flurries here, and then we'll see clearing skies tomorrow. With that in mind, our pinpoint forecast, 10 p.m. tonight, cloudy, maybe a flurry. Not much expected. Roads will stay dry and conditions stay cold. Low to mid-20s by 10 with a cold north wind, 21 in Tulsa, and feeling colder. Tomorrow morning's low temperatures, pick out where you live and you'll see that you'll be cold along with everyone else. Readings in the mid to upper teens and low 20s. A chilly northerly wind, maybe some flurries, skies staying cloudy. In Tulsa, the morning low will be 18 and, of course, feeling colder. Tomorrow's highs stay pretty chilly. We'll climb up into the 30s and low 40s, slightly warmer west and southwest, colder to the northeast with decreasing clouds. Tulsa's high tomorrow, 37 degrees. Pinpoint 4-day forecast for you there. We'll see a pretty good stretch, I think, and gradually warming up. Friday into the 40s, then 50s, both Saturday and Sunday, with fair to partly cloudy skies. Be nice to get warmer after today's cold weather. Mike?
Sure would, and it looks good. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Well, some people say they simply can't afford to live without their home computer. Still others say they just can't afford to buy a system. Well, in tonight's in-depth report, Liz Exon looks at 2 new stores in Tulsa which are giving new life to old computers at a very sweet price.
It's called Computer Renaissance, and it's located at 61st and Memorial.
What we are offering them is an alternative to buying new. Here we have used and refurbished computers, starting as low as $399.
This model, he says, is perfect for many families. Kids can surf the internet, do research, write school reports, and play games. Competing with Computer Renaissance is Second Bytes, located in Broken Arrow at 73rd and Aspen, and in Tulsa on Admiral Place, just west of Memorial.
The prices on multimedia systems range anywhere from $369 up to about $699. That includes the monitor, the keyboard, mouse, speakers, Windows 95 installation, everything to get you set up.
Second Bytes and Computer Renaissance are cashing in on the computer upgrading frenzy, grabbing up old cast-off computers and making them zing again.
We get them from leasing companies, we get them from large companies that upgrade, and we bring them in here, we pull them down, we check them all out, put new parts in them, and we offer a 1-year full warranty on everything at no extra charge.
While Second Bytes only buys from the business sector, Computer Renaissance goes one step further. It not only buys from businesses, but from John Q. Public off the street.
We do what we call a test to buy. It takes several hours. We have a form for them to fill out. We do our test, and we call them back. We use the Orion Blue Book, like most computer companies do, and give them a price. Either we can write them a check, or we can apply that to a new computer of their choice.
Both stores also offer laptops. One for sale at Computer Renaissance goes for $9.99.
This is brand new.
No, this is used. This is used.
How much would this cost?
When this originally came out, you probably look around $2,000.
But on the lower end of the spectrum, Laurent says his store is the perfect place for the computer timid who want to start slow and cheap.
And make sure that's what they want to do, if computers is right for them. And then 3 months, 6 months down the road, they said, yes, I'm hooked, I want to get on it, I want to do it faster and better. Bring the system back, we'll buy it back, apply the purchase price to another system.
Haney says you might find that a used and cheaper computer is all you really need. He says not everyone needs a new Pentium 2, which is now widely advertised.
They advertise a great price, but it's still a high price for somebody that doesn't have $2,000. We sell something like this for $699, a complete system. It will do everything that those will do. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be as fast, but for 99% of the population, it will be faster than what they need.
Second Bites and Computer Renaissance, two companies making it possible for just about everyone to join the superhighway. Liz Exon, 2 News NBC.
Reselling computers, tonight's In Depth, and it's been a history-making day as the man some say is the greatest to ever play basketball calls it quits. Again, Al, you would agree he's the greatest.
Some say, I think just about everybody says, and Michael Jordan speaks to the public about his retirement when we come back.
Never thought I could afford a Lexus. My wife never thought we could afford a Lexus. But with the certified pre-owned program, I got the car I really fell in love with.
Buying a pre-owned Lexus was really a much better financial way to go. Financing was fantastic.
She wasn't hard to persuade.
The most affordable Lexus ever. 0.99% financing until March 1st.
So we said, let's go for it. It is mine, not my husband's. It's mine. First time out, I was able to get a Lexus.
Owning a Lexus is closer than you think. Own the Lexus of Tulsa.
The best, exceeding all others in quality or excellence. Recently, the Oklahoma Association of Broadcasters has recognized KJRH 2 NBC as having the best sportscast, the best spot news reporting, and the best special programming, plus an award for our community service. We give you our best to help keep you informed. Just some of the many ways we are Oklahoma's home team.
Another Pinpoint Weather Advantage. Question: what's the one thing most people want to know in advance? Answer: the weather forecast. And who can give you the most accurate forecast? The 2 News Storm Team. They don't just give you the weather now. That's easy. They give it to you before it happens, using live pinpoint Doppler radar, pinpointing when the storm will affect your area, right down to your own street. Now that's an advantage. The Pinpoint Weather Advantage from the 2 News Storm Team, Oklahoma's home team.
I am here to announce my retirement from the game of basketball. It won't be another announcement to baseball or anything to that nature.
He gave the league 13 years of great play, 6 championships with the Bulls, averaged over 30 points every year, including in the playoffs. If there was ever a go-to guy in basketball, the ultimate was Michael Jordan. And now, number 23 is 99.9% sure he has played his final NBA game.
It is a business, but yet it's still fun. It's still a game, and the game will continue on. Once again, I've had a great time. And a lot of people say, well, Michael Jordan doesn't have any challenges away from the game of basketball. Well, I dispute that. You know, being a parent is very challenging. If you have kids, you know that. You know, and I welcome that challenge. You know, I thought about saying just 2 words, I'm gone, but I figured I owe the fans and certainly the media a little bit more than that. I know, you know, from a career standpoint, I've accomplished everything I could as an individual. And right now I don't have the mental challenges that I've had in the past to proceed as a basketball player.
All right, Michael Jordan finished with the NBA. While OSU had no go-to guy last night, OU relied on point guard Michael Johnson and some very stingy defense.
Ugly game.
Yes, it was an ugly game, but it was a pretty sight for OU to look up at the scoreboard and see an 11-point win in a building they hadn't won since 1992. And OSU's lowest point total since Eddie Sutton returned to Stillwater.
I can't remember, Al, when it was. I think it was back when I was coaching Tulsa Central.
And OU's defense was superb. OSU shot just 28%.
I tell you, part of the problem is we have no inside game, and so what people are doing to us, we're just pushing hard on the perimeter.
We didn't allow them to get going. They're a team that, with their athleticism and their guards, they can really, really hurt you. I think Mr. Ivor would have been proud of the Sooners tonight.
OU heads to number 3 Cincinnati on Saturday.
Just like this wasn't a piece of cake, but we had to come to play, and we gelled as a team.
While OSU tries to right itself at Texas Tech Sunday afternoon.
I don't like to lose ever, but, if you lose and you play halfway decent, that's basketball. But I thought offensively we just were really bad tonight.
All right, women's Bedlam tonight in Norman. We'll have the highlights for you tonight at 10. Men's game, Arkansas at Mississippi State tonight. We'll have the highlights at 10. The Oilers begin a 3-game homestand tonight with Fort Worth coming to town. Highlights at 10. And if you haven't heard, the Dallas Cowboys did not protect fullback Moose Johnston from the expansion draft. Receiver Billy Davis, center Clay Shiver, defensive ends McCormick and Anderson also on that list. And wrapping it up, Emmitt Smith will replace Garrison Hurst in the All-Pro game and the Pro Bowl in Hawaii in 2 weeks. Garrison Hurst, of course, with that broken ankle. One other item tonight at 10. Mike Tyson went bananas on a satellite show. It's not really for family entertainment. We'll have it for you tonight at 10.
All right, we'll be watching for that, Al. Thanks a lot. And tomorrow there will be a new chairman of the Tulsa Chamber of Commerce. Chuck Patterson is replacing Ed Keller. We'll talk with Mr. Patterson one-to-one coming up next.
At Circuit City, you'll always get our low price guarantee,
without sacrificing great customer service.
So you just tell us the size of your room, and we'll help you pick out the perfect TV and screen size.
Right now at Circuit City, all 31-inch and larger TVs are on sale. And pay no interest till February 2000 on all TVs $499 and up. Like this Magnavox 32-inch TV with remote, now only $549.99. Plug into low prices on the best TVs today at Circuit City.
Pay no interest till the year 2000 during Heilig Meyer's store-wide winter clearance. Clearance living rooms are up to 30% off. Clearance dinettes are up to 40% off. Clearance bedrooms are up to 40% off. There's lots more on sale at Heilig Meyer's, too. And remember, you won't have to pay a penny in interest until the year 2000. Clearance sale prices and no interest for a year, only at Heilig Meyer's.
Come to S&K's hot winter clearance sale. It's thawing out prices on handsome wool blend suits at 2 for just $199.97. Thousands of clearance sale prices on sport coats from $89.97. Come to S&K's winter clearance sale.
And Charles Patterson is our guest tonight, one-to-one. He'll be inaugurated as the chairman of the Metro Tulsa Chamber of Commerce tomorrow night. Mr. Patterson, thanks for being with us tonight. Are you ready for this big challenge?
Yes, Mike. I joined the chamber back in '78. One of the first things we did when I opened the company, and continued with the chamber and have done a lot of different things over the last almost 21 years.
What do you see as the big issue or the big challenge facing you in the next year or two?
Well, there's certainly a lot of issues. I think the biggest issue for me, urban areas are always declining and revitalizing. And in the 80s and 90s, with the loss of a lot of the economy, I think that we missed a whole cycle in the main part of Tulsa. The suburbs are vital. They're doing very well. It's been revitalizing as you get closer to the core, but I think that we need to turn our attention and focus to the renovation, revitalization of downtown North Tulsa, and support and look to our public school system here in the main part of Tulsa.
Are you surprised that there are companies, and one company in particular, Boxer Real Estate, that's buying up property like there's no tomorrow downtown?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I have visited with Mr. Siegel at Boxer, Mr. Larson, and other people, and they have lived in cities that are in the same position in a cycle we are, but that happened many years ago. And they went in, they bought the properties at the bottom, which is where they have been buying or had been buying them here, and renovated, re-rented them, and made a whole lot of money. And that opportunity sits in the downtown part of Tulsa right now.
Does that tell us then that the private sector is enough to revitalize downtown? Do we need some kind of Tulsa project, even a small one?
That's a pretty big question the way it's framed. I think in the private ownership of office buildings that private can work. I think the uptown area south of the immediate downtown, that is happening, but I do think that we need to look towards the public facilities that we have which are our responsibility as a community to renovate and revitalize, and we also need to look at the areas downtown that are pretty big areas that are going to take more than just someone buying an old building and re-renting it. I think that we need to take a look at our vision for Tulsa and prepare ourselves for the next century in the downtown area.
So would you revitalize the convention center, do something for it?
Well, the convention center is the key element of a $1 billion industry here. Our tourism or hospitality industry is a $1 billion industry. It's over 24,000 employees and provides annually over $30 million in city sales tax revenues. Right now, those facilities are old, they're tired, they're undersized, and for instance, in the last 6 months alone, we've lost, as a community, 8 major conventions, 35 smaller meetings, which is computing to about $17 million in economic benefit and almost $500,000 in city sales tax revenue. And Mike, that kind of money will go a long way to patch holes in the streets and sewer lines and add water lines and things. That's where a lot of the money comes from, and it's money from outside of our community that people bring in. And I think that's very important. We're about to go from a level, or what's called a 2-tier city, down to either 3 or 4, just due to the fact that our facilities are old, they're tired, and they're undersized.
All right, Chuck Patterson, the new chairman of the Tulsa Metro Chamber of Commerce, thanks for being with us. We'll have a final word for you right after this. Stay with us. If you would like more information about stories you've seen on 2 News NBC at 6 tonight, you can find it at teamtulsa.com. Do you know the answer to tonight's timeline question? More than $1 million was spent on the Phil Tower the month it was completed. At that time, owners of the tall buildings took pride in outdoing each other by building the tallest structures. The Phil Tower was once called the Queen of the Tulsa Skyline after its completion in 1927.
This weekend, State Fairgrounds Expo Center, it's the sale of the century. Save on Michelin, Bridgestone, and Goodyear tires any size, $20. Satellite systems, $79. Automatic bread makers, $29. Cordless phones, $15. Answer machines, $10. Save on complete tanning systems, 0 down. $30 a month from Leisure World. Even jewelry, perfume, lamps, watches, and N64, PlayStation, guitars, pianos, and more to 70% off. Friday noon to 10, Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 11 to 6. State Fairgrounds Expo Center, Tulsa.
Here's something else you should know about Economy Hearing Aid Centers. We can get virtually any brand of hearing aid you want. Surprised? Well, it's true. Including the Siemens brand, the #1 hearing aid company in the world. And we have our own state-of-the-art lab. So you see, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Here's the smallest hearing aid available. Our competitor's price, $1,500 and up. Our price, $595. And with 42 locations around the state, there's bound to be one close to you. And remember, we sell the best for less.
We look at our job like, how can we make somebody smile today?
The costume, when I have it on, it makes it a lot easier to make someone smile.
We just like to be funny and play with the kids.
It's like they have a supernatural vision. They can catch us the minute they walk in the door.
Mommy, there's a clown up there.
Shopping to me is fun. So if I can make a fun job of it, then that's what I'd like to do.
We actually don't know how to make the balloon animals, but
not at all.
We try.
What matters is you come shopping at Walmart, you get what you need, and we give you something extra. A smile to leave the store with.
As always, we invite your comments about stories you've seen this evening on 2 News NBC at 6, and here's how you can express your views. You can find us on the internet at teamtulsa.com, then click on forums and write your message, or voicemail at 748-1444. You can also send us a letter, P.O. Box 2, Tulsa, 74101. We may put your comments on the air. Well, that's all the time we have on this Wednesday edition of 2 News NBC at 6. I'm Mike Browning. Thanks for being with us this evening. Remember, for your local news at any time, it's teamtulsa.com. Jay Rickards with the latest news tonight at 10. Good night.